I want to talk a little bit about some of your inventions, and I want to go way, way back and start to talk about how you kind of landed on these things. Because inventing a product is a really interesting thing. To have another patent holder on the show doesn't happen all the time. How did some ideas start working in that direction of creating the Bosu ball, and then all the other things you're creating? Like now, it seems like you're on fire and you're just creating. You're working on creating so much.
Yes. Yeah.
Where did some of this like come from? Do you feel like you've been creative most of your life?
Yeah, I was always creative my whole life. And sort of back in the day, I'm 53, 1970 baby. So, you were dealing with your hands in some mechanical capacity. And I did the BMX bicycles. I'd ride them in mud and dirt and water and stuff. So you'd have to take it apart and, I don't have enough money to fix or to buy new 3-piece cranks. So I'm going to take this Coke can, I'm going to cut it here, and I'm going to wrap it around that thing, and I'm going to jam it on so that, my thing doesn't slip.
I remember it was a big deal getting the pegs on my BMX bike. The pegs on the back that you could stand on.
That was before my era. You know what I mean? Like it came later, but,
Right.
when I was a kid, skateboarding in a swimming pool was new.
You mean like an empty pool? Okay.
Yeah, all you did when I was a kid, if you could do a 360 and tack your way up a hill and slalom down, that was sort of like, you can skateboard.
Yeah.
And it's just, just boom. It just hit the thing where monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
I'm going to top that. That's possible. But so I was always creative in solving problems. And then when I was acting and personal training to make a living, so at that point, what I did was I would go around and do in-home sessions. Money's much better.
Yeah.
Right? And I had a broom handle that I got from Home Depot, put athletic tape around it, and I cut out a center. And so, I had the center of the bar. I had a towel, a couple like elastic bands. And then like I went and got a water skiing handle that I, strap on the door like a TRX kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So I was always just improvising, and I would if I would do all these weird body things where I'm, resisting, and like doing this, getting a leverage position. Okay. And so it's just about making do and being creative to, give a good experience and a great workout without having to carry weights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was that. And then when I did the Bosu ball, that was just a lucky accident, one of those flash of inspiration. I fell off a ball standing there. It was the New York Knicks were playing in the finals. They lost the game, and I closed my eyes to do this minimalist thing on a ball, and I tilt my head to upset the vestibular, and before I knew it, I flipped over, I landed on a ball, and I landed like a backflip across in the kitchen. And I was in the living room. I was in the den, a 200 square foot studio.
Yeah.
And I started kicking my feet to make sure I could still do it because I was so terrified of that lack of control and hitting my neck because I landed on my neck. And that night, I thought well, what am I going to do here? My back is getting better. My feet are getting strong, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what if I cut the ball in half? And it was just like, bang, like, mother. And it was the .com era.
Yeah.
So money. Like,
How old were you?
I was 29.
Okay.
Yeah, 29. And 1999. And literally, I quit acting in that moment. Okay, I called my agent. It was a Friday night, so I had Saturday and Sunday. But Monday morning, I thought, listen, I'm done. I'm going to go make some money. And I knew what I had in the concept. So literally the next day, so this is 1 a.m., between 12 and 1 when I think, what if I cut the ball in half? I'm on the first train out to New Jersey the next day. Home Depot, half hour later, and I'm in my father's, backyard on the picnic table, cutting the ball in half and strapping it around a pine tabletop that's round and stapling it and gluing it and stuff. Next day, blew it up. I was like, holy shit, this thing is fantastic. There's just so many things you could do with it. And the innovation, which I recognized right away, was that it's actually stable. Right, so most people intuitively would say, oh, the Bosu ball, you're supposed to use it with the platform up and balance on it. But I knew, no, the secret sauce is on the dome.
Yeah.
And if you can jump on it multiple times body weight and jump a rope on it and pound on it, well, it's stable. It's an undulating, compressive surface that's elastic, and elastic is such a special training
Jumping on a
substance.
bed a little bit. Right?
It's a trampoline that doesn't pull you to the center. It's a trampoline that wants to take you out of center. And so you're not getting inversion with the feet. You're getting that supination, right? So you're not pronating in on a trampoline. You know, if you jump on a trampoline too much, you get sort of sore where your feet went like that all the time. Well, this thing does it like that. And athletically speaking, I want to be here to there. I want to be here to there. I don't want to be here to here athletically, right? So, and I didn't know all that stuff consciously in the manner that I understand it now in terms of biomechanics, but I had good instincts. And I knew, like, when I played football in college, I had to tape my ankles every practice, every game, because I had trick ankles that were going to twist on me like that. So the Bosu ball made me bulletproof. And then I played basketball. I'm like, I don't got to worry about my ankles anymore because they just got smart and strong. Half the reason why you twist your ankle is because it dangled a millimeter out of position and then you swept across, it got caught and you twisted it. So you could have avoided the whole thing by just not being a millimeter off, you know, when you're moving.
Yeah.
Right?
Power Project family, if you're trying to increase your muscle mass, if you're trying to lose body fat, if you're trying to stick to your nutrition plan, if you're trying to get fit, pretty much if there's anything you're trying to do for your health, we know that sleep is the biggest determining factor to help you get from point A to point B. That's why we've been sleeping on 8 Sleep mattresses for probably more than 2 years now. And the main reason is the technology behind the Pod Pro. Now, the Pod Pro is like the Tesla of beds. It will change its temperature based off of how you're sleeping during the night. And if you have a partner that's sleeping on the other side, they could have their own temperature settings. We all sleep hot here, and I used to wake up in a puddle of my own sweat.
Gross.
That doesn't happen anymore because of the 8 Sleep mattress, and I've been getting the best sleep of my life. Now, if you don't want to replace your mattress, you can just get the Pod Pro cover, and you can put that over your current mattress to get all the benefits of 8 Sleep. But if you also need to replace your old nasty mattress, you can get the Pod Pro cover and the 8 Sleep mattress. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, you guys got to head over to 8sleep.com/powerproject, and you guys will automatically receive $150 off of your order. Again, 8sleep.com/powerproject. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
So that, and then inventors often have like the sophomore slump, right? So the Bosu ball, that's a grand slam, right? And I knew it would be. That was my financial future. I'm going to hit the American dream. I'll be able to do whatever I want and not have to go to work is the idea, right? And it essentially did that. So the next invention that I made was, I called it the Quick Hands Bola trainer. And it was an elastic cord, like shock cord, and then 2 balls. And what had happened, the way I invented it was I was in my, I'd moved to San Diego, and I'm in this condo on the beach, and I took a hacky sack and I taped it onto an elastic cord that I just happened to have. And I was playing with penduluming. So like arcing and catching and sort of balancing with that visual and vestibular stimulation to boom. And what I found myself doing was I would do it and I'd bounce it up and catch it. And that became what I fascinated. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. It's like, it's just it's a toy that I used as a training tool. And we put a speed gun on that thing. I could make it go faster than 110 miles an hour of snapping that thing back and then bring it, you see, like just bing, bing, bing.
What drove you to think of this one? Because this is
it's a cat toy.
Yeah, it's but it's like, you know, you're in the gym space a bit and you're a trainer, and we don't really see a lot of reaction stuff in the gym most of the time, or reflex stuff, I should say. You don't see a lot of reflex stuff in the gym. It's usually just like lifting. So how do you kind of
I think
come up with this weirdness?
What I like is by this time I had started gaining some interest in the martial art. And so if your hands are fast and coordinated, so a lot of times what I would do with it is I would take, and that's the beginning of rolling ropes right there.
Yeah, rope flow.
The rope flow started with that. And I had been training with a staff before this. So you can see it's just, you know, and
seems like fun.
If you're good at it, it's fun. And so, and I have the tenacity to get good at it.
By the way, for anyone listening who's like, oh, this is, again, because there's some people like, oh, this is bullshit. We had Luisa Nicola on, who's like, she does neuroathletics with athletes.
Yeah.
And one of the things that she does, and a lot of other people do, is they have athletes train with tennis balls, train the reaction, catching tennis balls, throwing tennis balls off a wall and doing different stuff. And when you look at this, there's a lot more variability because of the two balls, and there's a lot more creative things you can do with this. So this was kind of ahead of its time in terms of in concept.
Well, what it did was, you know how in Rocky he bounces a ball, he's walking around on the docks breaking thumbs, and he's bouncing a ball. This, you don't got to get your hands all dirty with dog shit with this stuff, right? It doesn't hit the ground,
Right.
and you have the feedback of one hand commanding to the other hand. So there is a coordination where you can direct where it's going. So you could get good enough to do this with your eyes closed, whereas a tennis ball, you could never sort of, somebody throws a tennis ball at your eyes closed, you don't have the sense of where it's going to be. So this thing is developing the eye-hand coordination in the meantime, and then the control and communication of it. And one of the things I would do with it is I would take it here, and I'd fling it out there, and then I'd catch it right here. So intercepting fist.
Yeah.
He's throwing a punch, like boom. You see what I mean? And when the thing's coming 100 miles an hour at you, you're not messing around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now suddenly it's like, oh, you know, right? So I always cared about my prowess. And I'm not big, I'm not fast, I'm not strong, I'm not flexible. So you got to be smart, right? And so that was a tool. And it's a cat toy. You get reflexes that are ridiculous. You know, you drop some, pink, you catch it, no problem.
Yeah.
You know, so there is a carryover to it. The issue with it is that it's very skill-based. So the athlete sort of, you know, in season doesn't have time to do that, you know, level of proficiency. And yo-yo, Duncan yo-yo, they have sold hundreds of millions of yo-yos. If Duncan were to have invented his yo-yo today, it would fall flat on its face.
True.
Because you're competing against the computer, and there's a skill base to a yo-yo. So literally, it's a relic that you get a shitty one in your stocking that doesn't even work, okay? Because that's what most yo-yos are. But there's a whole contingent of people who do yo-yos and are doing like the most amazing things with them.
I remember when I was in school, we had a yo-yo guy that came to like a little
It went to
assembly.
everybody's school. Yeah.
We bought those
Everyone's
yo-yos.
pumped,
Yeah, and that's
They got everybody.
The cool kid at the
can't make
yo-yo.
it work.
well, that's fewer and further between now.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's too skill based. But so anyway, I thought that thing was amazing, and I, invented that. I tried to push that. I went to juggling conventions and stuff and it took me forever to move 2,500 of them. So it was like, okay, this is not worth the effort. Because the turn on inventory has to be a certain time frame.
Yeah, it's important to recognize that something didn't work.
Yes. And so there's that. And then what I think now my inventions they always stem from, like the RMT club is a great idea of like for the invention. I collected Indian clubs. And if I like something, I go overboard. So I had, every kind of club. I had antiques. I had heavy ones, light ones, single ones,
Indian clubs are awesome. I just found out about that recently, the past few months, and they've done a lot of stuff with those.
The Indian club, I mean, it's primal.
Yeah.
It's a stick, a stone, and a rope. That's the first three. Add fire, add the dogs of war, add the secrets of plants, and bango, iPhones, and whatever. Seriously, that's what got us started.
Yeah.
And so the club is so primal and basic, and there's a elongation with it. It's not compressive. You're expansive, right? And so an Indian club is a wonderful tool, and I had all different shapes, all different sizes, all different weights. And the shortcoming for me was like, I want to move something so fast, right? And so And then having the percussion inside of it was to give it weight. But then the discovery was like, oh my gosh, there's a shift in a percussive that then later turned into the propulsors, same concepts, right? And my first propulsor prototype was material from an RMT club that I put into a thing, and you said, oh my God. And I was just like, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah.
Because making money excites me, right? It does. And I'm not a money guy.
Yeah.
Right? You say this, I'm wearing this because it was a Christmas present. Otherwise, it'd be a branded T-shirt like this underneath.
Yeah.
But so the RMT Club is a great example of it's a tool in a category that is timeless, it is primal, it is basic, but it gives you an advantage in terms of speed that you can do. You can swing that thing faster than any other club.
Oh, yeah.
Any other club. And you can percuss yourself with it too, without hurting yourself. One of the demos I do is if you attack it with your thigh and you like press your thigh in the ground and you make your thigh muscle, I can smash myself with it because it acts like a dead hammer. It hits, then the weight hits. It takes all the sting out. You know, a carpenter has that dead hammer where they bink and so it doesn't bounce off. It hit, right? And so it's just a great tool.
Power Project family, we appreciate you checking out this clip. Check out another one. Just go check out another one. Or comment down below and let us know what you liked about this one. But we love you guys, and we're going to keep bringing you the heat. So comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff, okay? Peace.